The waiting room of Horizon Dynamics hummed with subdued energy on a crisp Tuesday morning in October. Job seekers sat in neatly arranged chairs, clutching resumes and rehearsing answers under their breath. Among them was Daniel Foster, a black man in his late 40s, dressed in a charcoal suit tailored to his frame. He sat in a wheelchair, his hands resting calmly on the armrests, his expression steady. Daniel's resume was a testament to his prowess. 15 years in strategic marketing, millions in revenue generated, teams mentored to excellence. Yet today, he braced himself not just for an interview but for the assumptions that often greeted him before he could speak. Through the frosted glass door, Patricia Hayes emerged, the hiring manager tasked with filling Horizon Dynamics' senior marketing strategist role. At 38, Patricia prided herself on her no-nonsense approach, though her candor often veered into sharpness. Today, she was irritable, her mood soured by a sleepless night and a looming deadline. She swept into the waiting room, her heels clicking against the tile, and surveyed the candidates. Her gaze landed on Daniel, and a flicker of surprise crossed her face before hardening into a smirk. Without a word, she waved him forward, her impatience palpable. Daniel rolled toward the interview room, his movements smooth and deliberate. Patricia held the door ajar, her foot tapping. "Let's hustle, Wheelie," she quipped, her laugh sharp and hollow. The jab landed, but Daniel's face remained composed. He'd heard worse. Inside, Patricia flopped into her chair behind a polished desk, skimming his resume with a cursory glance. "So, Mr. Foster," she began, her tone laced with disdain, "you've got some decent numbers here, but let's get real. How do you expect to keep up in this job? Marketing's fast-paced. Travel, client meetings, energy, you get the picture." Daniel leaned forward slightly, his voice even. "Ms. Hayes, my wheelchair doesn't slow me down. I've spearheaded campaigns across continents, often remotely, and delivered results that speak for themselves. Energy comes from focus, not feet." Patricia arched an eyebrow, unimpressed. "Nice pitch," she said, folding her arms. "But let's not kid ourselves. Clients want someone who projects strength, someone they can picture running the show. Your situation might throw them off." She waved a hand vaguely toward his chair. Daniel took a slow breath, measuring his response. "Strength isn't about standing, Ms. Hayes. It's about closing deals and building trust. I've done that consistently, no matter what people picture when they see me." Patricia wasn't listening. She checked her phone, stifling a yawn. "Thanks for stopping by," she said, standing abruptly. "We'll let you know." As Daniel maneuvered toward the door, she muttered, "Just loud enough. A wheelchair in marketing. That's a new one." The words stung, but Daniel kept moving, his grip tightening on the wheels. He didn't look back. What neither of them realized was that someone else had witnessed the exchange. In the hallway, leaning against a wall with a cup of coffee in hand, stood Eleanor Grayson, the CEO of Horizon Dynamics. At 55, Eleanor was a quiet force, known for her hands-on approach and unyielding belief in merit. She often roamed the offices incognito, gauging the pulse of her company. Today, she'd paused outside the interview room, drawn by Patricia's biting tone. Eleanor's eyes narrowed as she heard the dismissal, the mockery. It clashed with everything she'd built Horizon to be, a place where talent trumped bias. She set her coffee down and decided to act. Daniel reached the lobby, his mind already shifting to the next opportunity, when Eleanor approached. Her tailored blazer and silver-streaked hair gave her an air of quiet command, but her smile softened the effect. "Mr. Foster," she said, extending a hand. Daniel turned, surprised but courteous, and shook it. "I'm Eleanor Grayson, CEO of Horizon Dynamics. I'd like a word, if you've got a minute." Daniel nodded, intrigued. "Of course, Miss Grayson." He followed her to a small lounge off the lobby where they settled into plush chairs. "I caught part of your interview," Eleanor began, her tone direct but warm. I owe you an apology for what you went through. That's not how we operate here, and I'm sorry you were treated that way." Daniel's eyebrows lifted slightly. "Thank you, Miss Grayson. I faced it before. Not easy, but I manage." Eleanor leaned forward, her gaze steady. "I don't doubt you do. Your resume's impressive. Top-tier campaigns, record growth. I've tracked your work for years. You've got a reputation in this field, and it's well-earned." Daniel smiled faintly. "I appreciate that. I just want a chance to prove it." "You shouldn't have to prove anything beyond your results," Eleanor said, her voice firming. "What Patricia did was wrong, judging you on assumptions instead of facts. I'm handling it, but I'd like to talk about what you could bring to Horizon." They spoke for nearly an hour, Daniel outlining his strategies, his knack for reading markets, his resilience under pressure. Eleanor listened, nodding occasionally, her respect growing. By the end, she straightened in her chair. "Mr. Foster, I'd like to offer you the senior marketing strategist position. Higher pay than advertised, effective immediately. You're exactly what this company needs: skill, grit, and heart." Daniel blinked, caught off guard. "Ms. Grayson, thank you. I'd be honored to join the team." "You've earned it," Eleanor said, standing to shake his hand again. "Welcome aboard." As they wrapped up, Patricia entered the lobby, her clipboard in hand, her usual swagger dimmed by a nagging unease. She froze when she saw Eleanor and Daniel together, their handshake sealing a deal she hadn't anticipated. Her stomach sank. Eleanor turned toward her, her expression cool. "Patricia, a word in my office." "Now." In the office, Patricia perched on the edge of a chair, her bravado crumbling. "Ms. Grayson, I didn't know you were here today," she started, forcing a smile. Eleanor didn't sit. "I heard you with Mr. Foster," she said, her voice like steel. "Your comments, your attitude, unacceptable. Why'd you dismiss him?" Patricia faltered. "Well, the role's demanding. Travel, client-facing. I thought his condition might limit him. We need someone dynamic." "Dynamic?" Eleanor cut in. "Daniel Foster's closed deals worth more than our last quarter's revenue. He's dynamic where it counts. Results. You didn't see that because you stopped at his wheelchair." "I didn't mean—" Patricia stammered, but Eleanor raised a hand. "You're suspended. Effective now," she said. "I'll review your conduct personally. If you can't align with our values, fairness, respect, you're out. And if Daniel accepts the job, you'll see just how wrong you were." Patricia's face drained of color. She nodded mutely and slunk out, the weight of her misstep settling in. Eleanor watched her go, then returned to the lobby where Daniel was gathering his things. "Everything set?" she asked. "Absolutely," he replied, a spark in his eyes. "Ready to get started." Months later, Horizon Dynamics thrived under Daniel's influence. His campaigns broke records, his ideas reshaped the company's outreach, and his quiet strength inspired the team. He pushed for inclusivity, mentoring others who'd faced doubt, turning his role into a beacon of possibility. Patricia's review ended in her quiet exit. She couldn't adapt, and Eleanor wouldn't bend. The office buzzed with a new energy, a testament to what happens when talent meets opportunity. Daniel sat in his office one evening, looking out at the city lights. He'd come to prove himself, but he'd done more, shown that worth isn't measured by what people see, but by what you do. For him, for Horizon, it was a victory rooted in fairness, a lesson etched into the company's core. One quiet man proved them wrong. This story shows us that true worth shines beyond what eyes can see. If Daniel's triumph moved you, hit that like button to show your support. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications for more stories of grit and justice. What would you do to challenge unfair judgment? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. We'd love to hear. Until next time, remember, real strength comes from within.